Welcome back to Citizens United. I'm John, Noel.
Hi.
Everyone's here. Robin, Gail, Jerry somewhere. They'll be joining us shortly.
Yeah. Oh, we've got ice in us. Moving out.
Yeah. How you doing this week?
All right. Good, yeah. How about you?
All right. You know, it's the week.
Yeah.
It's Monday. Well, that's cool because it's Citizens United, so that's nice. Fast. Yeah, everything's going fast. Really, really fast. I'm glad it's not snowing, at least.
I know.
Here. It hasn't been bad. Today was a nice day.
Yeah, today was pretty good.
You know, I think it never gets out of the 30s, but it's nice.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
Yeah, I like when it gets sunny.
A couple of people
Hi, Kim.
are here. Chris, Kim.
Hey, Chris.
Before we get to our guest, I want to say, remember about the stars, and thank you everyone for sending stars. Yes. You can support us by sending stars. It's like 99 cents for a bunch of them. And it helps us with our technology, helps us pay things, help us what we're going to do after. Yeah, we've talked about
some stuff we really want to do that will help us catch predators.
Yes, I cannot wait to be able to do that. Once D'Angelo's done, then we'll get right into it, and that's gonna be good. So yeah, send us stars if you can, 99 cents. And I appreciate everyone that's already done it. You know, at Noel, pretty much at like the heart of our show is survivors. Yes. It really is. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, we talk about politics, we'll talk about stuff, but really, when you break it all down, it's all about survivors and helping people become survivor or whatever. Yeah. However we do it. Well, tonight we're very lucky because we were able to get a survivor herself, but someone who helps people become survivors. We're very happy to have Antoinette Barr with us. Hi, Antoinette.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here with us,
Thanks for coming in.
Especially being so late where you are, right? It's like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 11 p.m. now.
I appreciate it. Wow, thank you very much. Antoinette, I got to ask you right off the bat, like what your story, I listened to you did that on your page. I listened to your story. Can you tell us your story?
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I come from a very broken, abused, dysfunctional background. I was sexually abused by my father at a young age of 3. And that sort of started before that. Sorry, I was born into a blended family that didn't blend very well. And I was born for the purpose of being the gel and kind of trying to bring everyone together. But then I experienced my own abuse growing up when I was young, and then there was a lot of verbal, a lot of emotional abuse as well, a lot of physical abuse growing up, as well as the sexual. And I used to escape that pain that I felt at home by going to school. And unfortunately, although I loved the learning and I loved books and I would just bury my head in books, I found that was met with a lot of pain in school. And so when I hit my teen years, I was a broken mess. Like complete mess. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't cope with all the abuse that had been going on at home, in school, with friends. I didn't really have any friends. I used to buy my friends a lot to try and kind of earn that acceptance or approval and make it look like I had friends. So I would buy them tuck at break time so that I could sit with them and it would make it look like I had friends. Things like that. Though all those things that are really traumatizing for a young girl and boy. So when I hit my teens, I was just, a mess and kind of at the peak of everything. I was trying to escape the pain that I was feeling. So I tried to numb it with alcohol, with drugs, with relationships, with anything, you name it. Like I was kind of going into all of it because I just wanted to find something that would numb that pain. And I also suffered from eating disorders. I was self-harming. Throughout my teen years, I had 5 suicide attempts as well. And the doctors had put me on, I had been diagnosed severe anxiety and depression, borderline manic depressive disorder. and the doctors put me on the highest dose of antidepressants that I could be on at the time. And what I found that it did was just sort of mask everything, and nothing actually really helped. I was put into therapy. I was in therapy for over 20 years, and I just found like nothing ever really helped. Like everything just, there were some things that helped you sort of helped you heal like the symptoms and the signs of it, like the surface level, but nothing actually really dealt with it. And what I was getting a lot was, this diagnosis, like the label that they had put on me, that is what I have to live with for the rest of my life. And I just have to accept that I'm a person that's always going to suffer from anxiety and depression, borderline manic depressive disorder, which for those of you who don't know is bipolar. And it would just be something that I just have to learn how to manage and learn how to live with. And something inside me was like, no, I don't accept it. I was like, no way. My faith is really important to me. And one of the things that I've learned in my faith is that we're called to live in this abundant life. And so I was like, abundant life, this label for the rest of my life, it doesn't add up. So I was like, one way or another, I'm going to find a way of living free from this diagnosis. And I did. It's been a long journey, long healing journey, but I was able to actually understand the root of the trauma, heal it once and for all, not just deal with surface level stuff. So how I describe it is it's like a plaster. So in America, you'd call it a Band-Aid. So if you've got a big sort of festering wound, I explain this because I hold a masterclass every month for survivors. And the reason I call them survivors is because part of getting out of that and part of healing is to stop seeing ourselves as victims, because it's very easy to see ourselves as victims when all those things have happened to us. But it's that mindset of, no, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. If you're alive and breathing, no matter what has happened to you, you're a survivor because you've survived it. And so I hold these masterclasses every month for these survivors. And one of the things I explain in there is it's like a Band-Aid on a wound. There's many, many things. And this is one thing I find that therapy can do. I'm not dissing therapy. I think therapy is very good for a lot of people. But for me, I just found it just kept me in circles. I was like, how long am I going to be in therapy? I've been in therapy like 20 years. I was like, how long am I going to be in therapy yet still dealing with the same thing and not actually dealing with it? And the way I describe it is it's like that Band-Aid that just, it keeps helping you change the Band-Aid and put a clean Band-Aid on. But underneath that, you've got a festering wound there, which needs to actually be cleaned out and healed so that it can actually heal and you don't need to put a Band-Aid on. So I learned and I developed a number of different tools and techniques, and I've been certified in NLP. That's one of the techniques that I use as well. Now there's a number of various techniques that I use, and now I have the privilege of being able to actually help other people heal from the trauma once and for all and actually be done with the PTSD and all the anxiety and all the effects. Like, it doesn't mean life's not going to bring times that cause anxiety, but when you have the tools to know how to deal with it, it's a game changer.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, we here deal with a lot of, Noelle,
Yeah.
my wife, Robin, they're all survivors of sexual abuse. And so it's funny. God, everything sounds the same. Yeah, go ahead.
I was diagnosed with the same thing too as you, the bipolar Russian too, so I know how that is.
Sorry, I couldn't hear that bit.
I'm sorry. I was diagnosed with the same thing too, with the bipolar, so I know how that is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Annette.
I was just going to say, doctors are very, very quick to diagnose and very quick to prescribe a prescription on something, rather than actually spend that time and actually deal with it so that the person doesn't have to live with that.
Right.
How old would you say you were when it finally like all right, because I can only go by I'll go by my experiences. And we've known people that have been, that might've been hurt when they were little, and it takes 30, 40 years before they're able to, How old were you, or like when did that all happen for you?
Big turning point for me when I knew that this wasn't how I was going to continue my life was when I was 16. So I'd had a suicide attempt, and I was taken the following morning. I had taken a large number of tablets, and I was taken the following morning to the doctors, and they asked my mum if I had had my stomach pumped, and she said no, because she hadn't taken me to the hospital the night before. And he looked at me, he looked at my mum, he looked at me again, he looked at my mum, and then he said to me, I don't know how you're still alive. He says it's a miracle. I don't know how you're here. And there was something in me in that moment that just changed. And I was like, I know I'm here for a purpose. I haven't died because I'm here for a purpose. And it was that was a real turning point for me, that I knew one way or another I was going to find a way for me to heal, but also so that other people didn't have to live in the pain that I was living in, where you feel like the only way out is death. So that's what I committed to doing. That's what I did. So I'd say 16 was the big turning point for me. But I ended up getting into an abusive marriage at 19, and I was in that abusive marriage for 10 years. And then when I finally left that, I experienced, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, I experienced a lot of, let's call it what it is, abuse from the family court system.
Oh yeah.
That's horrendous. Like that opened my eyes to a whole other. I won't get into that because
we talk about that
all the time here. Yes,
sports all the time and how abusive and disgusting it is.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. They claim to have the child's best interests at heart.
No, they don't do
that at all.
They don't have the child's best interest. They're horrible. They're the worst.
We're watching women getting their kids taken because they're the abuser is the lawyer himself, or a friend is the lawyer, and we're just watching it.
Yeah,
we've watched it happen so many. It's almost like what's sick is, and I don't know how you feel, Noelle, but there's times where it's almost like, oh yeah, of course, like you just almost accept it, and it's a worldwide thing. How about that?
Yeah, I feel like they're like big traffickers, like support the children.
Let me ask you something real quick, and this was something I read on your, and this was interesting about triggers and how like things like that can be helpful in a way. I don't know. Can you explain?
Yeah. So a trigger, a lot of people kind of hear trigger and think, oh no, like I don't want triggers. And obviously, we don't want them. We don't want to have them. But if we can reframe how we're looking at triggers and actually see triggers as a warning sign that it's our bodies letting us know that there's something in us that's not healed yet. So if something triggers us, whether that's a smell, a sound, something I'm working with someone recently is there's a sound that is very triggering for that person. And so anytime they hear that sound, it takes them back to some trauma that happened when they were younger. And so whether it's something that they're seeing, hearing, smelling, anything can trigger that. But if we're able to stop in that moment and say, okay, is this actually now what's going on? Like, am I actually in danger now? Or is this something that my body is kind of remembering from the past? Because our unconscious mind can't tell the difference between reality, like what's now and what's in the past. So the same way, like, if people are scared of bugs, like spiders, cockroaches, anything, like if you see a spider or a cockroach or anything like that, you can be like, like quite squirmish. Right. Most people will react the same way if they open a book and see a picture of that insect, even though our conscious mind logically knows that that's just ink printed on a piece of paper. It's not actually a bug.
Right.
But our unconscious mind can't tell the difference, so it just sees it and reacts. So if we're able to recognize those triggers and then stop ourselves and say, okay, is this now? Is this something that I am actually in danger of now? Or is this something in the past? Then we're able to separate it and then go back and do the work and heal from it.
Yeah, that's a great way to turn the trigger issue around. Because Robin, I know you have dealt with those.
Yeah. Oh, I still do. I mean, there's certain things that always bring back the trauma response in me, and that's a different way to look at it. That's really an interesting way to.
Yeah, you almost fight it back. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost like you own I don't know. It's almost like you take control. I don't know how to call it because I never. It's funny. I sit here and you guys have been through it. I've never been through it, but I can just by what I hear. I mean, it's almost like you have to gain control of it.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, yeah, I get. I mean, you guys are incredible. We are with Antoinette Barr. You are a certified NLP practitioner, right?
Yeah.
And where you're called a survivor coach? Is that what you're called? Or
abuse survivor coaching.
Right. So now I got to ask you another question. In this world that we live in, we talk about this all the time. And I'm going to go with sexual abuse, things like that. Have you know the world doesn't take it seriously, so it's kind of difficult sometimes. I think. I guess how did you deal with that? Because I know with other people that are surrounding me and us, and then we see other victims, and then they become survivors. We hope the world does not take it seriously enough. It's almost like shake it off type of thing. How do you? I don't know how to get through that.
I think part of what a lot of people are doing, I'm seeing it, I'm kind of networking now with a lot of other trauma coaches and kind of healing coaches that are working towards the same thing, which is just healing that trauma. Because I think every single one of us, even if we haven't been through like kind of the big sort of abuse situations, there's some level of trauma, even if it's just, a teacher calling you stupid in school. Or making you feel stupid because of a piece of work that you did in school, or someone trips over on a Christmas play in school and the kids laugh at them. That literally happened to my son about last week, and I had to talk to him about I know that everyone's laughing, but think about how that person feels. And it's hard because as a kid you find it funny, so you laugh, but what we don't realize is that's actually very traumatic for the person that feels humiliated. And if they don't have an outlet to process that humiliation and how they felt at that young age, that becomes a need that hasn't been met in them and a trauma. So they carry that with them throughout the rest of their lives. So I think everyone has experienced trauma on some level. And trauma is something I love. Gabor Mate's quote, I quote him all the time, is trauma isn't what happens to us. Trauma is what happens inside us as a result of what happens to us, which is a really good thing. It's really good news because it means that we can then heal the trauma. If trauma was something that happened to us, there's nothing we can do about it. It's happened, can't change it. That's it. But trauma is actually the result of something that happens in us as a result of what's happened to us. So we can get to the root and heal it. And I think what I'm seeing more and more, which is the answer to your question, is I think the more people are raising awareness, the more people are speaking out about things, the more people are starting to take things seriously. But it's a slow burner. It's hard. Like I work with survivors of some severe rape cases, and it's hard enough for a survivor to report it, and then when they do, they're not believed, they're called liars, they have to then prove it, it's their word against the others. And I'm talking about teenagers as well here, as well as adults. And then when you get into narcissistic abuse and, the psychological, emotional abuse, that's even harder to prove. That's like, that's a tough one. So one of the things I really focus on work with my clients is we can't change how the world is dealing with things. We can't change the court system, for example, because it was actually going to drive me nuts how the family court system was. I was like, this is the most ridiculously horrific injustice I've ever heard of. Like, this is insane. Like, this is why we have an entire generation full of anxiety and depression, because you've had people that have been forced to live with abusers and parents that have tried to protect their kids have had their kids taken away from them or had to share custody with them. So they're forced to be in abusive environments. No wonder we've got a generation with youth that don't know how to cope with things because they've been forced to live in that environment. And so, sorry, I'm going inside note there.
No,
yes. So I lost my train of thought now.
Well, here, I got a question for you real quick. How do we spot a narcissist? Because they're kind of difficult, I think, to find, because, they try to act nice in a way.
Oh, they deserve an Oscar. Like, they can act like the most genuine, sincere, loving members of society. I think there's a few keys that I've learned on my journey and with working with clients as well is they feel like they're important, and they might not, because you can have a covert narcissist or you can have an overt narcissist, someone that's very obviously, kind of on that narcissistic spectrum sort of thing. Covert narcissists are the hardest ones because they are masters at hiding it and no one sees what's going on. So a few things that I would say to look out for with that is they think that they're very special and they think that they deserve things. Another thing is looking out for things like gaslighting, the manipulation, the control that's going on. They also tend to prey on people that are very wounded and that have a low self-worth, low self-esteem. They don't value themselves because they can get away with that. Another thing is they cannot show empathy. So they can't show feelings. And quite often you'll find that a narcissist won't show any feelings, won't show any emotions until, like, say someone wants to leave, and then all of a sudden they're the broken mess, because then everyone feels sorry for them. And everyone then starts looking at the other person as, oh, I've never seen this person so distraught. But actually it's all an act, because they're not capable of having that empathy for people. So there's a few signs that you can look out for.
Yeah, we've seen. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh my god. We can name a ton. Yeah. Bill William, I'm going to read what he sent a message to you. I want to read it from our chat room. William Keller, friend of ours. Bill. Hello, Antoinette. I too have been abused as a young boy, and it did things to me to disrupt my life. Now I have come to a point to not only recognize the triggers of my trauma, but I can now help others of similar effects of the trauma. And he thanks you for speaking out. And I got to say something, and Bill knows this. He was on our show. It's a little harder for men to come forward, it seems.
Yeah. And that's why, so I've had, because the masterclass that I run, it's a free masterclass every month that I run. It's 2 hours on how to overcome trauma. And I had a couple of women not very happy with me because I open it up to men and women as well, because it is really hard, because it happens to men just as much. And there are women narcissists, there are women that actually are kind of the abusers in the relationship. And it seems to be more common that it's the man, but it's not. There's a lot of men that are abused, and not even just in, relationships and in marriages, but as children, especially. Like the amount of boys and men that I've worked with that have experienced some of the most horrific abuse and trauma that I've seen. It's, it is the same. And it's one thing, it's really hard for a man because there's a stigma of, getting in touch with your emotions and feeling that and having that level of self-awareness, which can sometimes be harder for a man. But I find they're actually a lot easier to work with because I think they want it more than anything. They don't want to live with that trauma more than anything. So they're willing to do it. And when they're willing to go there, they go all in Whereas sometimes with women, it's like those fears stop us, those what ifs, you know, all the things that can hold us back and stop us. So, but yeah, it's definitely, I'm of the opinion and of the belief that there needs to be a lot more support for men.
Scott says, I was married to a narcissist person for 20 years. She was and still is the best actress ever. Yeah, it's just men seem to have it. I mean, it's not hard. It's just
hard for them to come out and speak about it.
There's so much societal stuff involved in that gets, unfortunately.
So many judgmental people.
Yes. We're with Antoinette Barr, and I know I only have a few more minutes left with you. Where do people, let me see. Where do people go to find you? I mean, I know you can find you on Facebook. I found this group, Support for Abuse Survivors.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah, so that's my Facebook group, and then they can connect with me on my Facebook profile, Antoinette Barr. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I think that's it. Yeah.
I don't want to keep.
It's all the same. It's Abuse Survivor Coaching. That's the name.
Great. I don't want to keep you any longer because we're so happy. I know it's late there, and we appreciate you being with us because we're trying. We're doing it. What we're trying to do is just like kind of keep. If we say it enough, maybe something will change, type of thing. Or maybe, like you said it earlier, if we say it enough, maybe just it'll become serious enough to where people. Geez, I don't know how many wake up. I don't know how many people we've seen that have just. It just, they can't do nothing where their statutes of limitations run out, whatever it is, and it's just like, all right, move on. Yeah. And but anyhow, Antoinette, we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Honestly, like I don't even know that it's late because I love this. I love just talking about it. I'm passionate about this. So thank you so much.
Yeah, can we? We'll reach out because there's a lot of times where we need advice. Because sometimes we face some things. People might come to us and we're like, oh, God, we got to figure it out. But we will come to you if you don't mind.
Absolutely, yeah. And anyone's welcome to join the master classes that I hold monthly as well. So,
all right, great. Antoinette, have a good night. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And that was Antoinette Barr.
All the way from England.
England, yeah. She told us the city. I can't remember.
I do too. I love it.
Yeah, it makes it more important.
Yeah, I can't help it.
No, it is a great. She's something else. I mean, these are the people. Think about what she just said, though. It's going on over there when they're talking about the family court.
I know.
Wow, it's not just. It's not Niagara County. It's worldwide.
Exactly I could already imagine what she's going through, like without her even having to say anything. Like I just know what they probably put her through.
Right. Let's look and see. We had some comments. Chris says she was a great guest. We had some other here. Hi to Vernon. Hi, Vernon.
Hi, Vernon.
Didn't have a chance to get to everybody. Burdette put some good stuff out there. Also, everyone has to find their own way of dealing and overcoming. That is true. Dre says, love that reframe, Antoinette Barr. And that's about it. Dominic's here. Good evening. Kim, we know, is here, Chris, and everybody else. So, and then everyone else that's watching. What I'm going to do is with that interview, I think I'll clip it out. Yeah. And then I'll just put that portion out if you just want to see what Antoinette says, because
it's crazy that it's going on all the way up there, the court stuff.
Geez, if I'd have known that, we could have talked. Yeah, we might bring her back for more.
For a whole other subject.
Bring her back.
Yeah. Because
more than willing to.
I wonder if Stacy's watching. Stacy, if you're watching, I know that's probably somebody you can connect with too.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. It's a UN and WEF agenda, destroy the family to bring in the New World Order.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing something to destroy families but they've been but obviously this has been happening for decades. Yep. We just haven't, luckily, we look at the internet. I hate the internet sometimes, but look what we just connected to.
Oh, I know.
And we find out over there, they have the same, she might as well have been in Niagara County.
I know.
The way she was talking.
Yeah. I know.
That is nuts. Family court isn't a court. So they get away with not using laws. All right, guys, we should take a break.
Yeah.
We got to get to our commercial break. When we come back, the Niagara Falls reporters come back for some
they're trying to come back.
Unknown reason. I don't know why, but we got a lot to talk about with them, a lot to talk about some other stuff. See if we have any updates on lighting the falls up teal. And we'll be back in about a minute minute and a half. Be right back.
Digits 988 can save a life. If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides connection to free confidential support. There is hope. The Lifeline works. For 24/7 confidential support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Back, and thank you, Antoinette Barr, from across the ocean in England. And do follow her, find her on Facebook, on Instagram, and it's Support for Abuse Survivors is her group on Facebook. And she's doing a lot. She's got a lot of videos, a lot of stuff, and it's all free, which is nice too.
Yeah.
She does her classes for 2 hours. So before we get into the reporter stuff, any update? Did you get any emails from the Niagara Falls, to light the falls?
No, I haven't heard
Me
one
neither.
thing.
Haven't
Not
heard a thing.
one thing.
Not one thing since all of us sent in requests,
I
and we've got
I,
nothing.
I keep forgetting. I have to do that.
Yeah.
It's because I'm not even like in a rush anymore because I don't have hope.
Yeah, I don't
I
either.
don't do anything. I just
And I cannot believe they won't, but I'm not going to beat that over too much because what are you going to do? But April's coming.
as long as we're asking for it, they're not going to do it. Or they're just going to pretend like they did do it again. And
Well, I was going to say they're probably going to say they lit it up on a certain day when nobody even knew about it.
right,
Right.
Oh, well, we already did it. You
and
know?
not have proof of it being lit up.
I got to find someone in Canada. I feel like I need to find someone there and call them.
I
So they
know.
might be a little more honest to me than the people on this, the Niagara County. Niagara
Yeah.
Falls. When I get to City Hall, what are they going to do to me?
Right.
They're not. They're going to just tell me, to go to hell. So, anyways, the Reporter, we know that place. Remember, let's go back in time. The Niagara Falls Reporter, way back when there was, he's dead now, but his last name was Hudson, whatever, Mike Hudson. He did a lottery. He did some things. He was a different type of guy than what they have. He did some good reporting on some stuff.
Was he the one?
Yes,
Okay.
Local 91, the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I heard it was good at one point.
It kind of was. It was a different thing. It was different. You know what I mean? Like it had an edge to it. Like back then, it was kind of cool because we didn't have this, so there's no internet, no podcast type stuff, and they seemed to be the counter to the Gazette. You know what I mean? They were like the counter. They were going to do, and you felt like, you wanted to actually pick that up for free because you never knew what they were going to say. So you had that thing about it back then, and ever since that guy passed away, we don't have that no more.
Yeah.
Now what I notice they do is, in my mind, is they pick a side. I don't care who it is. It could be, red versus blue. They take red side and just hammer blue, hammer away. Usually, it's like the mayor. Now, I have no love lost for
They
what
don't
goes
care
on.
about the truth either.
No, I don't know. Well, for example, the mayor, I don't have any caring for
Right.
him, could care less what they say about him. But I know when they're attacking him over the arena thing, it's on behalf of NFR.
Right.
And they're just doing it. But not too long ago, in 2019, they loved the mayor like he was a savior.
Oh yeah.
All of a sudden, look at the stuff they write.
Mhm.
It's crazy. So let's see here. Oh, Stacy's here. Hi, Stacy. How you doing? I want to bring up what we found the other day, or you found it or something. Look at that.
Yeah, this was great. This was written by Gerald Skrillin. Guilty until proven innocent, coming soon in the Niagara Reporter. Now, he posted that after Stacy called him out. Everybody was calling this guy out about him, in the Niagara Reporter, and he wrote something. I don't know if he meant to write it or what, but he goes, "We hope she gets raped." He said that about the girl, about an article that they were in. Stacy called him out on it, saying, like, are you a reporter, and did you just say that you hope that somebody gets raped? And he got upset about it, and he just deleted his whole entire post because he was getting called out. But that was that right there is in response to me, basically, with the Nick D'Angelo situation. So they're basically saying that they're going to write another article, but I know them. That's not going to be an article, an apology or anything. It's going to be basically a big F you to me.
Sure.
That's what it's going to be. The Niagara Reporter is going to slant, and I want them to. I am asking you, do it. Write an article.
They know that.
They know the trial's coming up.
I don't know why though. It's really nuts for them to get into this again.
Yeah.
It makes no sense because, first of all, I mean, they're not gonna. It's not the same as it was before for them. No one really cares what they do.
They were dead for the longest time, and nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, like no one cares anymore. I mean, they did what they did in 2019 with the mayor. They tried to push him because they didn't like Deister and that whole thing and Picarello and all but now you are on the side of Niagara Falls redevelopment.
Yeah.
The ones that have been our nemesis forever.
Right.
Basically, along with the state of New York. It's not just them, but it is amazing. And now you're going to try to tell me, and I don't even know what Gerald is.
I don't
He's
know.
not a writer.
He's not a reporter.
He's
He's like a cheerleader for them.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
He's like a cheerleader. He's like, I'll relay this message to Frank. Like,
His name is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Like,
friends with the
This was Nick D'Angelo at first.
he's a real guy.
Some old fool who thinks he's something.
Yeah.
Sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he is
Yeah.
guilty. He's already a sex offender before and is guilty for that.
Yeah.
Gerald is an idiot from Scott.
Yeah, he is.
I just don't know. It's like we talked about this, like a hornet's nest. Why would you want to start this?
Why would you, especially when we got your paper taken down in the first place?
Yeah, why do you want to restart this whole nonsense again? And why would you want to be on the side of Nick D'Angelo?
And what's so weird about writing an apology?
Right.
Like, that's how you know Nick is still there. Not only did Frank tell me that he was, they already admitted it to me. Not only did Gerald Skrillin admit to me that Nick was still there, but why?
Maybe they're being pushed by Nick.
That's another reason why they're not writing anything.
Say this. Get on the thing and say this for me.
Oh yeah. Well, the recent article they just wrote was about the guy from the casino and this girl Carrie. I spoke to that Carrie girl on the phone. I've spoken to her, and I'll tell you right now, I know for a fact she's getting representation for free by Nick. And
you've done more in that story than they did.
Yeah.
Way more. You know more about, you should have wrote, you know what I mean?
Than
they would know because they only know, go ahead, one side of it.
Oh, they only know one side. And so, but they did to that guy what they did to me. Slandered, said, without even getting any of the other side, like the facts on the other side, nothing. And Frank goes, well, he didn't respond to my calls. Well, nobody wants to talk to you. Nobody knows you enough to want to talk to you, but that doesn't mean you go on and you slander somebody and you, without knowing a full story. I've spoken to that girl, Carrie. I spoke to her. And I'll tell you right now, I just know for a fact she ran to Nick D'Angelo and said, please do this story. She told me she was going to go to Nick.
Right.
She literally told me she was going to go to the news and to Nick about this.
Right.
And then what happens? Niagara Reporter comes out with an article. So Niagara Reporter can sit there and say Nick D'Angelo is not the managing editor all they want. But Nick D'Angelo just recently wrote that article for Carrie, his clients, which is a rule you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to use the press to gain upper hand in litigation. Like, he broke the law.
Several times. Yes.
Yeah.
So right there, he should be getting in trouble for that. And not only that, but he's still sharing everything from the Niagara Reporter onto the Niagara Action, the Action 716. He's sharing it like straight from the page, and they already admitted it. So why would the Niagara Reporter, who sits there and says they're investigative reporters, they seek the truth, they nothing but the truth, but they're sitting there lying to everybody that they still have a serial rapist working with them and writing for them. That's why they only put staff reporter. You notice
Right.
they won't put by this person, by
Ever,
put a name.
yeah.
It's staff reporter, because it used to always say Nick D'Angelo. Now they have to make sure people believe them when they say Nick D'Angelo doesn't work there, so they put staff reporter. Because it really should be saying by Nick D'Angelo. You guys are lying pieces of shit. That's what you are.
And that's like, why even do this? When you sit back and think about the story,
Yeah.
why would it ever even be written?
Right.
Like, if it wasn't for him?
Yeah.
Like, that's a story
only
that has
reason it was written
no,
is because of Nick D'Angelo.
right, has no bearing. Like,
No,
why would
nobody
we?
gives a shit.
Why would that'd be something that should be? But you wouldn't, because no one. It isn't like that's the mayor or a councilman or somebody
You mean
or.
to tell me the Niagara Reporter didn't have enough time to redo the Nick D'Angelo thing, write an article for the Nick
Oh.
D'Angelo situation, but they just jump into that and write an article for
nothing.
that?
Yeah, like, because these people aren't like they're prominent. You know what I mean? Like, it's not
hope
newsworthy.
That guy from the casino sues the shit out of Parletto and Nick D'Angelo,
And the rest of
especially Nick D'Angelo and the reporter. I hope he sues the shit out of them, because he could.
Yeah, he really could.
Yeah.
And that was and I guess that answers the question enough for me. Like, what was the point of ever writing it? Like,
Right.
there is nothing. It's not
What
newsworthy
did she
at all.
do to get that article written?
There's so much,
What did Nick make her do in order to get that article written?
And so now can you explain a little bit to me? What did they say in the art? Do you recall a lot of what they?
Oh, basically saying how like he beat her. He was dating a bunch of women from the casino, and he's got a lot of connections. He's very well connected, and you just
Oh,
a
okay.
bunch of
Just
shit,
throwing.
making him look bad and saying all this stuff, only telling her side of things.
I'd like to get a hold of him. Wouldn't it be great if he could come on and tell his story?
You know what? Maybe I'll message him after this.
Yeah, because he should have a chance
Yeah.
to speak out. Dave says, wasn't whatever his name is the cartoonist for the reporter back during the dice room? Maybe he was.
Yeah.
Maybe he was.
And now he's just a cartoon.
I don't know why he jumped into this.
I
This
love
is
how he said, like, oh, well, nobody's helping me understand things. You guys are just saying, check this out, check that out. That is helping you understand. Check it out. What's so hard to do
Right.
the work? Check it out. Go look for yourself. And then people are sending him a bunch of things. It's just not our fault that you can't freaking read it.
yeah, because that's the problem. It's what the problem is what you wrote. Like, so there it is. We're sending you what was written.
Exactly.
It's not pretty easy.
Maybe if he checks his inbox, he'll see it too.
The best thing to do, if it was me, is just go away.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, stop.
Right.
Stop responding. Stop doing everything, because there's no point.
No.
You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to get anywhere trying to be. We're not listening no more to that bullshit of the innocent till proven guilty.
Yeah.
I'm not listening no more to that.
Yeah.
I'm done with that stuff. No more, because that was the Tony Farina bullshit.
Yeah.
We already went through that. 2 years now
Right.
ago?
Right. How many articles did they already write?
Oh my God. I mean, they're so lucky. They should probably right now be thanking you instead of saying a damn word. Their next article should be, we thank her for not, taking our money, taking whatever she wanted,
Right.
taking our ink, taking our whatever it is, because really they could have got it.
Oh, yeah.
If we would, I mean,
think they still might get it.
statutes of limitations should not be on. This is ridiculous, because why would there be statutes on that when it stays forever on the internet? That's what I don't understand.
Exactly.
It's there forever. It isn't just in a newspaper like it used to be. The
Right.
newspaper could be used for the for the birdcage. It's on the internet forever and ever.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that you can't? That's bull. That's
Maybe
garbage.
they had no problem talking about the Nick D'Angelo situation up until he got charged, and then they just went quiet.
Yeah, very quiet.
When they were proven wrong. So the Niagara Reporter is shown to do nothing but say nothing but lies. And
They're in full support of him.
oh yeah, and he
Full
still
support.
works there, so they're lying
So
to the
anything you
public.
can do to mess you up or try to threaten or give me more, or act like they're your friend for a second, give me more information. It's all bullshit.
I could have had Gerald's job there probably.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Easily,
other
and
thing.
Carlotta
Carl-
offered me it, so
And Parlatto's a misogynistic piece of shit himself.
Right.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, though, he did. Right. Think about all the offers made to you.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
would they do that?
Right.
That makes none of this makes sense if you look at it sensibly.
Let's say it's something planned up their sleeve.
Mm-hmm. And are just trying, hopefully, to get you to be quiet.
Right.
That's
Well, that's never gonna happen.
no, and that's why that article about that guy, I mean, they're doing it so they think everyone's asleep.
Yeah.
It's obvious that article. Why in the world would that ever make the paper?
Right.
Who's
That's why nobody else is talking about it.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, if that was prominent people, even the Gazette or the Buffalo News would have jumped on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not.
They even know better.
It's nonsense.
Those are supposed to be more professional papers, and the Niagara Reporter isn't professional.
No,
it's not.
I want to find out. I think it's wrong. I think some lawyer. Next time we talk to one, I think the internet is a different story. I know it's not, but it should be, because that pisses me off now to think about it. Because when if I type my name into Google, you know what's going to come up? That reporter thing saying that I was being sued for slander.
Yeah.
I mean, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not going to be gone.
What's also going to come up, though, too, along with it is how they promised to update everybody. And what they should be saying is, hey, John never got sued for slander. Nick backed down because
he's a rapist.
He's a rapist and he was wrong. And hey, they were all right on everything. We're fools. We're sorry for being such a piece
really
of
not
shit.
a newspaper.
And then a humongous retraction on you. I mean, really, that has to be set straight. They are no longer anything until they do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to do that.
They'll never be anything. They were never anything anyways, but they lost all credibility when they wrote that article about Noel.
And it was over and over because we had the Farina stuff. We had the other, you know what I mean? There was nonstop nonsense back then. And
Ken Hamilton.
Another beauty.
You have to, if they don't do that, then anyone out there that pays attention to it has got to, I mean, you can't need that much fake news in your life. You know what I mean? Like, do you really need it? That you have to keep, they only tell the wrong side of the story, and they were very biased and not very, what's it say? With ethylene of the, Robin, read that for me.
What's the title?
I'm blind.
Of journalists.
As I found out during 2013, 2015, when they were reporting about my daughter, idiots.
Oh, they were writing about your daughter?
Yeah, Nate has. Yeah, we'll have to talk off air. I'll tell you what. That thing has to be stopped. It really needs. And I'm for the freedom of speech stuff. I really am. Yeah. I like everyone. Do what you got to do. But if you want to continue, I just wish, you know what I want?
Do it in a way that's actually professional in the right way and not slandering people.
Yeah, they're not journalists. I agree. And the other thing is they want
to be journalists.
At this point, it should just be. I just wish I hope the public does what it's got to do and just shuts them down.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably the best way it goes. Is the people just stop, rebuke. You know what I mean? You don't mess around no more. But the internet lives forever, and that's garbage.
Yeah.
Statutes need to go away on that, because I can't get away from that. You can't get away. Right. I can't. No one can when it's there.
I'm still gonna go after them regardless. I'll figure it out, but I'm gonna go after them.
Yeah, I want to look it up too about the internet and what statute of limitations are on things that are written. Like, they should have to take it down.
They should.
That should at least happen.
That's what should be considered for slander or defamation. What they did.
Yeah, that's what all the times that we get served stuff. Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, let's see here. The only good thing about their paper is for bonfire material. That is true. Yeah. And I hope people don't bother with them. It's not even a paper anymore, right? They just do it online.
Yeah.
It's just a periodical. You know, real quick before it slips my mind, because I wanted to mention it. It's totally off topic, okay? But I see someone else was running for mayor in Niagara Falls.
Oh.
Glenn Shalokian is trying it again. So just wanted to put a mention out there that he is also in the mix.
So who's all running together? Demetrius? They're
all trying to get their petition signed. So you got Nix, you got Shalokian, of course the mayor himself, and the Republicans will put up some kind of a straw man. Yeah. Some sort of it's someone there. Yeah. Just to do it. The only good thing about their paper, that's right down. I said that about the bonfire material. So okay, we got those people. Nothing, unfortunately, it just doesn't feel real. I get to the point where I don't care, and I know that's probably horrible to say, but I don't.
And the outcome's always the same.
Yeah, I'm starting.
Nothing's
I almost wish I could. I wish in my perfect world, I would have an enormous outpouring of people not voting. Right. That's what I would do. I would have no one vote, so they can go there. It could be 3-1. Oh, mayor wins 3-1, or he pitched a shutout. 5-0.
Yeah.
And then what I would do is have a mass just unregistering, just getting out of all these parties, just go.
Mm-hmm.
But they never will. And that's why I was so upset a little bit when I saw Nick's. I was telling them, don't be giving them voters.
Right.
Don't register these. Don't let them vote. Get them to register, but be no party.
Yeah.
Especially here, I really wish they would allow a difference between your local and your federal stuff and your state stuff. I really wish we could
That's
have
a good
that.
idea. Yeah.
Because and I think locally we shouldn't even have parties. I've said this a million times. No
Be the
parties.
place right
Mhm.
there.
It would be so easy to do here. I mean, I understand statewide you can't,
Right.
but I would definitely wish you could do that. And also, by the way, the city does need council people that are from districts. You know,
Right.
it's kind of messed up that we don't have that here, like
Right.
every other city. So the reporter seems to be not really doing anything, I don't think, with you know who they'll end up going? You know what they'll end up doing is, right now, for some reason, I don't know why, it's someone's making it worth their while going after the mayor.
Yeah.
Like, it really is. Someone is making it worth their while to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're doing it big time. Go look at the Frank report.
Oh, yeah.
It's relentless. Skirl in there. He's relentless.
Maybe the mayor told Nick he can't take pictures of him, and
Yeah.
that set him off.
Probably can't be seen.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to be seen.
Oh, is that-
Although he's seen everywhere. He's
Yeah.
just doing it
Yeah.
all. So what do we got? We've got another 2 months? What do we
2
got?
months.
The 6th.
Yeah.
And somewhere in there, they're going to select a jury in between now and then.
I just
right?
hope to God that he doesn't somehow pay off the juror, find out what the jurors are, pay
Well,
off.
I mean, look where you are. I mean, look how the corruption. I mean, I have doubts that he'll do anything. This guy has been protected like unbelievable.
Yeah, I have doubts too. I'm concerned. I've been concerned over plea deal type stuff.
Yeah.
That if I just look at the guy in Lewiston
Yeah.
getting that, he got nothing.
And
For what he
during the
did.
Murdoch trial,
Murdoch,
just
yeah.
they changed 6 of the jurors.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Throughout the trial, 6 jurors got exchanged.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, what the hell was
Yeah.
that about?
I don't
Like,
know, but they
hold
got
on.
his ass. That's for
I
sure.
understand it, but still, 6 jurors while they're doing the thing, and the last one right up until when they were supposed to go out and deliberate, and then they took another juror and
Yes,
forced it
yes, I saw
during
that. Right
deliberation.
then.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, serious?
Well, that person divulged somebody else.
So they
Yeah.
say. I mean,
Well,
we don't
okay.
really know.
But I'll tell you what, I
I-
like Southern justice a little better than Northern justice.
I read that they told someone that they thought he was not guilty, and
Well, they get.
and said it to 3 different
Here's
people.
what I don't understand. That guy, D'Angelo, is nowhere close to what that guy was. I mean, that family, that's decades worth of just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't, that's why I don't understand why they just don't cut this guy loose
Right.
and say enough's enough. Because
We gave-
really,
Remember, we should tell Janelle that. Cut him loose. Turn that bastard in.
what's the difference? Yeah, what do you need? You don't
Make
need
yourself
nothing.
look a little better.
He's
Right.
got
That's
something
possible.
on them.
And if
got
he is
He
allowed,
has-
if he's allowed to
Yeah.
use that to get out of jail time, we
I know
got
what
we
he's
got a
got on
problem.
Janelle, for sure. Got a few things on Janelle.
Oh God.
She knows.
Man. Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Wow. Oh, real quick before we're still going here, but next week we have Kimberly Lowe will be with us.
Yeah.
She's running for U.S. Senator in Virginia, but who cares? Because she's got a lot to say. She was in Palestine, East Palestine, whatever it was in Ohio.
That'll be
She's got a
interesting.
lot to say. She was talking about train derailments the other night I saw, and she
Yeah.
doesn't understand why they keep derailing. And so it's going to be interesting
That'll be really
Talk to
interesting
her.
to talk to her.
and see what she's thinking and how her race is going.
Toxic things by rail is not good.
Yeah.
You're better off with pipelines or something like that. Not something that's moving.
Did you hear what Ryan said the other day? That he said that people around there are talking like Mickey Mouse. Is that true?
Oh, Frank said it's got to be.
That's what I just said.
Where did you hear that?
I don't know where
If that
he heard it
happens-
from.
Watching too many
I'm
videos.
bold.
Man,
I'm sorry. I mean, that could be the least of the.
That made me laugh a little bit. But these they were
I knew it, right? That's kind of like him. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
You can like, if that's all, if you think that was the only effect, that wouldn't be so bad. If you had to speak like Mickey,
yeah.
that'd be all right. I mean, it'd be tough, but yeah, but
Haley, she jumped in now.
Yeah.
oh, God, you know what? Come on.
She ain't gonna do anything.
She
Yeah.
must want to be a vice
I'm
president.
like, she didn't.
Yeah.
She's got to be better than what we have.
I don't know. The fact that she said she wouldn't
scared me.
run if Trump ran, and now she's running, I don't like it.
I like her, but not for president. I want somebody who like out of the box person.
Yeah.
I mean, he's really no politician at all.
Can you do me a quick favor? Read what Dominic wrote.
Okay.
Because I can't see, but I put it up.
The fact this trial is held in Niagara County is a conflict. Just look at it this way. Nick, aka Mr. Motions, works there. That trial should be held in a place like Rochester. One thing I liked about the Murdaugh trial, the judge there had every picture of his family taken off the wall to make sure the trial was fair.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
His father, Murdoch's father was a big
and his grandfather and
was a big thing down there.
Yeah.
That's not far from there. A big place we go to in South Carolina. Because Buford's right up the road, and he used to be, whatever. But anyway.
The fact that we couldn't even move this to Erie County. Just
I
leave it there.
How hard is it?
What's the problem? I say Orleans. I don't care.
Erie County's Grand Island.
At least moved it over.
Right.
I mean, what is bringing an Erie County judge in going to do? You're still in
right here in Grand Island, it's Erie County.
Yeah.
Just
I don't
over the
even
bridge.
know
Boom.
this judge well. I mean, I don't even know anything. He could know this
They're
judge
setting
too,
everything up.
because he works in
They're
Erie
setting
County too. So.
Speaking of Grand Island, there's some crazy stuff going on. If you go to the ugly truth about the girl next door, unfortunately. Yeah, and I missed some of it, but there's a couple more that have come forward, and there was one that was so sad. I mean, it's a mess. It was like the girl. It was the same church, but it was back in the '90s, and she was abused. She was being sold by the pastor, or whatever. It was just a big mess. Just people are coming out. You can see they're starting. It's unraveling. But yeah, I can't even imagine what I wish they would. They don't do any interviews though. I keep on asking. I'd love for them to do an interview so we could talk.
I know.
They don't do one. I got to check out I haven't checked out their podcast yet. I guess one of these times I should see it. I haven't seen it.
I haven't looked at it either.
How close was Shalokian his last run? He wasn't close at all. He wasn't close. It was a beating. And sadly, I think it may end up that way again. It'll probably be a 2-1 thing. I mean, it's just the problem when you're going up against the mayor is he brings with him Kathy Hochul, Henry Witaz, and he's bringing people that if need be, they'll make it what they want it to be. You know what I mean? So, the only chance you have here, I really believe, is if you were not a part of the party, and you have to be relentless. You'd have to be loud, relentless, and you got to go without the parties because I don't care, but these robots that go vote, they just always just like a magnet. They just head over to their side and flip the lever. So
that's it. Democrat, I'm voting Democrat. I'm a Republican. I'm voting regardless of what's out there.
I would love to just do name recognition. Name recognition would be fine by me.
Yeah.
I don't even care if you didn't have those people behind you, but they don't want it that way, and there's a reason for that. Anyways, so the reporter will have to. I'm sure there'll be more by next week. This guy doesn't be quiet.
No, he doesn't. He's like their little cheerleader.
Why doesn't he just shut up? That's all I keep thinking to myself. Stop.
He's like trying so hard to make the reporter look good.
Yeah,
actually, it's kind of fun. Let him keep talking.
Yeah, right.
All right, keep it up.
What do we got? Oh, here's a nice look at this from Kim. Noelle, now I know where you get your beauty from. It's from your mom.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, that's Jerry.
That's the first I heard that one. I always get told it's from my dad.
Kim said.
Thank you, Kim.
Well, there you have it, folks. What's up the rest of the week? Anything, Noelle? Same, right?
Same
stuff. Yeah. We should work on trying to see if that guy ever wants to speak with us.
Which one?
The guy from they wrote the horrible article.
Oh, I know.
That'd be interesting if he'd come on and talk to us about it.
I actually did contact him. I've been speaking to him, but I should ask him if he wants to come on and tell his side.
Yeah, we would love to have it. And I got to get myself more. That's how ridiculous it is. It shouldn't even. I can't get out of my head. It shouldn't even be a story.
Right.
It shouldn't even be out there. I never met your dad yet with a smiley face. So there you go. I think that's it.
Not the man I was, Kim.
Yeah.
I used to be pretty.
So tomorrow night, if everything goes well, we'll have a show. Robin live.
So yeah.
Well, you never know if it break loose. You never know. I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say nothing.
Well, yeah.
Are we having it or not? I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah, we're having a show.
Do you
Unless
know-
you're planning
No,
some chaos that
no,
I'm not
no, we're having a show. But
That's what the rabbit show.
Yeah.
chaos comes to me. I don't look for it. You know
Well,
what?
sometimes you're a little extra cautious of chaos, so you notice it when.
That's kind of that's
Extra cautious of chaos. So I should just sit there and let chaos I should just be on. Right. I shouldn't be ready. I just go, whoa, here it comes and get blown over. Is that what you want?
I go through it. Dogs are all female. Goldfish is female.
You know,
Surrounded on either side. Your friends come over. I'm gone. Or
so it sounds like tomorrow we're going to do one, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what we're going to talk about?
No idea.
All right.
I never have any idea until Tuesday, and then I.
Well, it is we try to keep the conversation going from here.
Right.
So we got a little bit from here for you.
Yeah.
You know.
You always try to hold me back from my national.
be on there.
Yeah, you're right.
But the national politics, I don't know. What are we going to do? What are you going to do?
I don't know, something national. I like
Let me
national
see.
stuff.
Make it good. Because I got to sit there and I'm the host, so I actually have to.
There's been death on the
Speed.
southern border. An American family was kidnapped going into by the cartels. They went into why you would go to Mexico now is beyond me. They actually have a thing of warning people don't go there. They went through, they saw a bunch of cars, they tried to speed around them, and all those cars were the cartels. Got them, shot at them a little bit, and they stopped, got them, and threw them like, I think they must have beat them unconscious, and then threw them in the back of a pickup truck. It's on you'll see it on Fox News tonight.
I saw
They kidnapped them.
somewhere else, and I don't know what news station it was. It may have been Fox. I'm not sure. But they were talking about now they're going to the northern border to talk. There was someone. Remember? There was.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember. Oh my God, that's something I want to look into because they're talking about the northern border being a problem now too.
Right? Yeah.
And something was happening. They were gonna go. I don't know where the hell I heard. Maybe it was on a local news channel.
Green
Actually,
lights on, so they're going around now, going to the northern, and pouring down.
well, northern border's us. I mean, it's right here. So
You wait till this affects your towns and in fact, I went to the grocery store again. It was Tops, in fact, and there was a group of foreigners. Let me put it that way. And they were speaking Hispanic, and there was an interpreter followed with somebody with Tops who was with the interpreter, and they were going through the aisles showing them what to do.
while Instacarting, I saw two guys that didn't speak English, and you could tell they were Mexican. I don't know, maybe Guatemalan. I'm not sure. They were pushing their cart, and with them was a lady with them.
Yes.
And she had a tag on. I couldn't see what it was, and it was a New York State tag, and they were helping them grocery shop. So
With our money.
and I-
Yeah.
yeah.
Our money. 90 and New York City's paying 90 million like a month for the hotels, all their food, great hotels, not just and they're trashing them. Then they sent them to Canada. Ones I want to go to Canada, and then they didn't like Canada. They wanted to come back, and they're doing it for them. They're absolutely doing it for them.
Wow. You
It
know,
goes on every single day. Talk about people that are not aware of what's going on until they go to their store and they're standing in line, and there's
just like here, just
people
like
with whole things full of nothing but milk. You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
buying every stuff. They're gonna wait a minute. What's going on? And that's all it is they're getting it for free.
it's just like this thing that we deal with assault, sexual assault and everything.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention to it.
That's
It's got to
just-
happen to you.
Yeah.
You don't want to wait because you don't want it to happen to you.
Right.
You don't want it to be your family, or I guess you wouldn't want that happening next door to you, whatever you want to say. But
Oh, I'm too busy. I got other things. I got a lot of problems in my life. I can't be bothered with that right now. That's always a good one.
You will be.
Right now.
you will be.
But when it happens, watch
I
out.
hope they do get bothered with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Too bad you got to poke. You got to poke and wake them up.
So Antoinette Barr, she joined us earlier. If you didn't see it, it's in the beginning of the show, the first half. She is an abuse survivor coach. She does a masterclass, she calls it, for people to become survivors that are victims. Support for abuse survivors is the Facebook group. You can go to Antoinette Barr's, what do you call it? Her Facebook page itself. She's on Instagram and all that too. So check her out if, it's just a different way, I guess.
Yeah.
Although it's funny, it's all the same though. Like you hear her story, it's the same story. I hear here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
So
It really is.
it's really kind of nuts when I don't know why it blows my mind. Maybe it's
I
because she
know.
was in England.
Probably that's just England.
Yeah. What really did it for me was the court.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe
I
what she
know.
said that about.
I can only imagine what she actually had to go through.
I really couldn't believe when I heard her say
It's
that.
not just here.
No, it's worldwide. They're taking children.
Whether to be happy or not about that.
Oh yes,
All over the world.
that's a nutty story. Oh my
Well,
God.
look at that in Africa. I mean, the girls they're doing what do they do to? Yeah, they mutilate them.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. That's been going on forever. A lot of the tribes do that. They die of infections like crazy and everything.
Mhm.
The YWCA, 716-433-6714. Robin has been to the YWCA. I've been there. It's great if you're a survivor of sexual assault, rape, and it was even back 35 years ago. It could have been yesterday. Give them a call. They're there waiting for you, standing by. Basically, the advocates are there to go with you to, where would they go, Robin? To school, not school, what am I saying? To the hospital, to court, to the lawyer, right?
Police station.
Police station. And then when you call, who were you talking to? Do you remember? What was her
My
name?
counselor was Pam McKinney, and my advocate was Rachel Sandal Sacco.
We had her on the show once, Rachel Sandal Sacco. We had her on. We got to get them on again. But anyways, the YWCA, please call them. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they're there to help you, and they will. They helped Robin a lot. They helped me to figure out, when I found out everything, it made me learn what a survivor goes through. Human trafficking, 888-373-7888.
Yeah, it's happening everywhere. It's happening in Grand Island. It's happening here in Niagara Falls. Please, if you think you've heard about somebody being trafficked, or you think you know somebody being trafficked, or you see something that looks off, call that number. They'll look into it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's anonymous too.
Anonymous. Yep. YouTube, Friends Media Network. You can find all of our shows, including the Spitball and Sports podcast, along with Balls Count Anywhere, Robin's show, this show. You can check it out. That's about it for us today. Don't forget our stars.
Yes, please.
Stars.
Yep, if you can, 99 cents goes a long way. We're already building up to the point where we can start thinking about doing some things, especially, I'm telling you, and I promise from this show at least, after we get through that D'Angelo stuff, there's going to be something coming to Niagara County that they're going to be shocked with.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to know what's coming.
No, they're
They're
not
not going to announce it, and you're going to see, and it'll be, and we're going to,
more helpful than the police.
yep, and we're going to do it live. You'll get to see it.
Yeah.
Real fast, I guess I'll grab a couple of these. Stacy says, it's very concerning. D'Angelo's trial is in Niagara County. The clerk's office obstructed 28 plus documents from my record. Some up to 10 years old are suddenly being found after I complained.
Wow.
If judges are conflict, so is the staff and court staffers.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go, I know, but I always just think of that Lewiston trial. The Belter thing makes me scared. I get a little sick when I see that. They didn't even put him in prison. They did nothing to him.
This guy had no bail. Didn't even pay a penny of bail. It's the same. I mean, it's hard not to think this guy's gonna scoop.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why people end up with vigilante justice. They wonder why. They feed it. They feed the machine. People can only take so much, right?
Right. And sadly, our system is not set up for victims.
No.
I cannot believe how it really protects or whatever the predator.
Everything. Our law is way out of order now. Cashless bail is causing death and like crazy. New York State's nuts anyway. We're gonna go down south to the swamps and get some swamp justice.
Next week, our guest, before we go, let me remind everybody, is Kimberly Lowe. Look forward to talk to her again.
Yeah.
And she's got a lot to talk about those train derailments, and she was in East Palestine, so we'll get to talk to her about that.
Drink the water, it's fang.
Anything else? Let's see. Oh, I like this. We can end the show on this. Not the victim justice system. True.
Right.
It's not. All right, let's get going. Noelle, we're going to keep an eye on your page.
Yeah.
For everything, any developments and any of this stuff we talked about.
The petition, if you haven't signed it, we're almost at 500 signatures. Please sign it, share.
Yes, please. And Citizens United will also have everything that Noelle does pretty much. I just transfer over to Citizens United, so we're good. All right, let's get out of here. Let me find our goodbye music.
Goodbye music.
Yeah. It's kind of like Barney. All right, everybody. So long, farewell.